Hey, welcome to Madhouse Magazine Radio Hour. It's our first show of the 2018 season.
All right.
And I got Mike and Mike with me tonight. Macchioli and Padron, as they say. Right. Don't you love that when they do that? Like, when they're reading the news or something like that, and they're speaking English perfectly fine until it comes up to a Spanish word, and then all of a sudden they put that accent on it. You know, it's like, it's like, oh, I went to the restaurant and I had some guacamole. You know. So anyway, here we are, the first show of the season, 2018. It's I don't even know what to say about it, but we got a brand new studio, and Cha-Cha is under the weather today. I have to say that, so she's not here. Mike's woman was supposed to show up, Maria. She did not show up. She's forever banned from the show now. And you know who else is forever banned from the show? Little Jimmy's forever banned from the show, too.
Jimmy?
Yes, he's forever banned. He was supposed to show up, and he didn't show up.
Isn't he having a
didn't
child?
Even call
Isn't he the first male
exactly
in history to have a child?
So he's out. He's forever banned. So anyway, today we're going to be doing a tribute to Pat Dinizio and the Smithereens.
Yes.
You know, right. So yeah, we all know and love Pat Dinizio and the Smithereens. Passed away in December. So as we always do with our tribute shows, Mike and Mike, we don't sit here and cry. We celebrate their life. We laugh and have fun. And we enjoy it. So we're going to do a lot of stuff here. I don't even know where we should start, but we're going to spotlight, like I said, Smithereens, and we're going to especially for you, the Smithereens' first album.
Great album.
Awesome.
What year, Mike Padron?
1986.
Very good.
Yes,
All right, there's going to be a lot of quizzes going on here, so you better be ready. So, yeah, we got a lot of stuff I want to talk about. So let's start off some songs first, and then we'll come back and we'll start the show. Hey, welcome back. Madhouse Magazine Radio Hour on 474 The Mix. That was Only a Memory by the Smithereens and Blue Period by the Smithereens. Another one of my favorites. And do you know who's singing on that? Mike Padron? Here's another quiz for you.
Blue Period.
It's a girl.
Suzanne Vega?
No, she does sing on one of these albums, but Belinda Carlisle. Oh. You know her from the Go-Go's fame? But anyway, let's talk more about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now. That's also come to fruition this last couple months here. And of course, and this is a New Jersey show because we're going to be doing a dedication to Smithereens, New Jersey, blah, 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 blah. And I'm going on record as saying Smithereens are the second best New Jersey band of all time.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Mike might say first, but I'm going as saying second. And Bon Jovi absolutely stinks.
Yeah,
I hate
I think the 17th best Jersey.
Right. I don't really even know that many other Jersey bands because come
on.
I like Bruce Springsteen. All right. I like Bruce Springsteen. I'm not from New Jersey, but I like Bruce Springsteen. I'm not fanatical about it, but he's a great singer, songwriter, all of that.
Singer?
Come on, a rock singer, you know, but he's a great songwriter.
Yeah.
Had a million great songs. All right.
Great
So next is the Smithereens. They definitely come before Bon Jovi and Southside Johnny and who else? Name some other Jersey bands. I don't know.
Blues Traveler, I believe, is a Jersey band.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, exactly.
They're way down below that.
There's Spin Doctors.
Oh, that's right. The Spin Doctors too. All right, say there you go.
Jersey, yeah.
All right, so there you go. And did you know the Beatles were actually from New Jersey as well?
Jersey. They were from Jersey.
They had a Jersey accent.
Very Jersey.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
the reason I'm bringing it up is because Bon Jovi made the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and that just burns me up.
John Bon Jovi.
And I posted something on social media recently saying, hey, what did I tell you about that? Yeah. No speaking while I'm speaking. I recently posted something on social media saying, is there one guy out there who likes Bon Jovi? I know girls like Bon Jovi.
But we talked about
one guy come out and say it? And there was actually two guys that came out and say it.
The bass player and the drummer.
Of the band, yes. No, I don't remember. What did we say about this?
Tico Torres.
Well, I told you. I was honestly like, look, any guy that I talk to that likes Bon Jovi is because they brought their girlfriends to those shows.
Oh, right. And
they're like,
they want to pick up girls at it. Yeah,
exactly. And it's a nostalgic thing about that
no guys
time.
actually like the music.
No, of course not.
Yeah, that it's just not possible.
Right.
Exactly. I totally agree.
Hey, Welcome back to Madhouse Magazine Radio Hour, and let me introduce my guest here, Mike Macchioli and Mike Padron. And Macchioli is in the Streetwalking Cheetahs, which is an Iggy Pop tribute band, and Padron is in Light My Fire, a Doors tribute band. Go, Macchioli! You got anything to promote here you want to talk about?
Sure. April 20th of this year, 2018, New Year. We're going to be playing at the Brighton Bar. Should be a good show.
Oh, I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, Future Now, which is an MC5 tribute as well with my bass player, Scott Burton. It should be really good.
Let's skip all you guys and get right to Dinizio and the Smithereens.
Yeah,
so now, Mike Padron is the New Jersey expert on the Smithereens and Pat Dinizio. So we're going to talk about, a little stuff going on here. Of course, his name was Patrick Michael Dinizio. He was born October 12th, 1955. I'm not sure of the exact place he was born, but I thought it was Scotch Plains, New Jersey.
He was born in
No, I don't believe that's true.
It was Scotch Plains.
No, I'm sorry.
Here it goes.
Plainfield, New Jersey.
Everything he says now is null and void.
Plainfield.
So that the other guys in the band were born in Carteret, New Jersey, and he was born in Scotch Plains, and they all, I guess those places are close to each other. I'm not sure, but they all went to the same high school or whatever, and they met up. And anyway, that he was, Dinizio was a huge fan of the British invasion of rock and roll, that his influences are the Beatles, of course, the Who, the Kinks. And did you know his number one influence of all? I did not know this. It was Buddy Holly.
Really?
That he was also influenced by, like Black Sabbath. He was a huge fan of Black Sabbath, Mahavishnu Orchestra, Jeff Beck, all that kind of stuff. And he was like a really good lead guitar player back in the day. And then he turned out to be one of the greatest songwriters of all time. I just love his songwriting, I have to say. So anyway.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
He was like a throwback songwriter.
That he was, the band Smithereens, like I said, they formed in Carteret in 1980. Do you know where they got that band name from, the Smithereens? Padron?
Yosemite Sam.
Exactly, that cartoon. The Bugs Bunny cartoon. That's awesome. Yes, so very
Who does
good.
their homework?
Yes, see? Mike's good here.
Man.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Pat Dinizio was so influential that he inspired Kurt Cobain.
Yes.
While they were recording Nevermind.
call.
That
They were
Mike
listening.
jumped up ahead 7 spots, but we'll go ahead. Go ahead
Well,
with it.
let's. All right. Well, while they were recording Nevermind, the producer told Pat Dinizio that they were listening to "Especially for You" album
Yes.
right here,
Yeah, there
over
it
and
is.
over and over in their van, and if you listen to the song about a girl, Nirvana. And you listen to it sounds like a Smithereens song, actually. And I'm not going to tell you which one. You have to find out for yourself. But
I agree.
It's pretty
And it was
straightforward.
even
Very
written in
identical.
his
You know what I'm talking
diary.
It's very similar.
In his
Very
diary,
similar.
Kurt Cobain, he wrote that he was one of his
Huge
favorite
Smithereens
huge
fan. Exactly.
influences
Yes.
was the Smithereens. So
Absolutely.
there you go.
Yes.
That
Yep.
that right there, that says it all. That started a whole new genre of
Agreed.
music. So
Yep.
he would be in the top 25 most influential. Macchioli?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And being
So-
because I'm
Of
in
Jersey
Doors,
acts.
I'm in a Doors
Oh,
tribute
definitely.
band.
Yeah.
I have to mention this. I'm in a Doors band. So
we
the
knew that.
song "Blood and Roses," the beginning of it, that bass line,
Dum, doo, doo, dum, doo,
Was-
doo, dum.
Wait,
Doo,
this
doo,
is
doo,
great.
doo, doo,
This
doo.
is true.
Pat Dinizio got that riff from Riders on the Storm when he wrote it.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, absolutely.
And he chopped it up a little bit.
It's
and
very similar.
Wrote the
Yeah.
bass line.
Yeah, I can
wrote
see
the
that.
song, yeah.
Absolutely. And that song happened to be about a suicide, I heard, too. So,
Murder and Love or something like that.
Blood and Roses. I heard him just today. Pat Dinizio in an interview
Wasn't
said
that
it was
from an
about
80s
suicide.
film as well?
Yes, that song right there. All right, let's talk about. Well, we're a little behind the scenes
Judd
there. They
Nelson.
just got the name here. Now they formed the band, the Smithereens, 1980. They were playing all over New Jersey, trying to
Right.
make it big, doing this, playing every band,
For about
bar.
6 years.
Yeah, for a long time. They had nothing. Now remember, at this time, this was the 80s. This was the time of Boy George and MTV
Right.
Yeah.
and all of this kind of stuff. And the Smithereens did not fit the mold here. You know, this was a lot of hair bands, and then you had new wave, with Flock of Seagulls haircuts,
Yep.
and the Smithereens did not look like what you would think a rock band should look like at that time, or any time really. And I think that played against them at that time.
True.
That, you know, as great a band as they were back then, you know, they had some fame, but they never achieved the fame they should have. Do you agree with that?
I do. They were signed to Capitol Records for quite a few albums, but they didn't achieve the fame that they should.
Right. They had a lot of good stuff, but it never went to the stratosphere like it should have for their quality.
Like honestly, like a huge change. Like it was going from like New Order, Van Halen, stuff like that into like I want to say grunge. And they weren't
that was way before grunge.
No, but they weren't quite a grunge band. Like that was moving into that like era of music.
Yeah, because let's talk about the first album then. It came out in 1986.
That's really not their first album.
Well, the first full-length album, I'll say.
First LP.
Capitol Records.
Right.
First LP.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I heard the story that Pat Dinizio, he was working as a garbage man with his father.
His father's company.
Right.
Yes.
And he said one morning he came down and he put on the TV, he was having his coffee and his gabagool, whatever he was eating.
Gabagool.
And he put on MTV and bam, there it was, Blood and Roses on the TV.
Man. Wow.
And it was just...
Hey, Dad, look at this. I swear to God.
Yeah, great. Now get on the truck.
Now get on the fucking truck. You pick up a shovel. Yeah, it's fantastic.
That's the way it goes. And just like that, overnight, 6 years, but it turned into overnight with that success. And then it was in what's that TV show? Miami Vice. It was on Miami Vice, the song, and other movies or whatever else. I don't know what else.
Gone Hammer.
Only a Memory. The song "Only a Memory" on Green Thought's album was on the Bull Durham
soundtrack.
It was not on the Smithereens did not allow that song to be on the soundtrack.
Of Bull Durham?
They did not allow
Really?
it. It was in the movie, but they told Kevin Costner that we don't want it on the soundtrack.
Why? What are they got against Costner?
He was Pat was sort of like, oh man, why don't we have it on the soundtrack? Because it went like gold or something like that.
Oh, really?
So like
Wow.
18, I don't know how many.
Very surprised by
albums,
that.
Yeah, it was not on the soundtrack, but it was in the movie. Yeah, Bull Durham.
Yeah. So fast forward, they get signed and they have this album, Especially for You, released 1986.
Yeah.
What exact date? Do you have the? I don't know that I have the date here. Mike,
It came out.
where is it?
Patron.
Why don't I have this here?
So just before
have to
Especially
cut
for
this
You
out.
album,
Go ahead.
they were they were a band for 6 years. And Pat Dinizio was doing a show with the Smithereens in Boston. And he saw this band, and they're all girls, right? 4 girls. And they were called the Bristols.
Yes, I heard
Out of
this.
Boston.
Excellent.
So it inspired him to write the song that I did before.
Yes, Mike covered this beautifully. Make sure you check that out.
Fantastic job.
Behind the Wall of Sleep. And it was about the bass player in the Bristols. Her name was Kim Ernst.
Wow, that's a good trivia. No one knows
Absolutely.
that.
Look them
Kim
up.
Ernst.
Look them up on
Where
YouTube.
are they now?
They're still doing it. I think
Really?
they're still playing every once in a
Wow,
while.
that's amazing.
In between babysitters. Yeah. So that's what that song was about. That was
Yes.
about Kim.
And that is one of the best lines. I love that she looks like Jeannie Shrimpton standing there like Bill Wyman.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
whole song. I love those lyrics.
And she does.
you
Like
know?
she holds her bass up a little bit.
I got to see her. She has black hair and
Black
stuff,
hair.
sunglasses.
She's tall. And
That's cool. I got to check
cool
her out.
Being a guy
What's her
from the
name again?
90s,
Kim
though.
what?
Kim Ernst.
Oh, I got to look at that up.
Ernst.
Everybody
Yeah.
look up Kim Ernst.
That's right.
Yes. So, so this is a great debut album released. I got the date here, March 1st, 1986.
There it is.
So that's 42 years ago, 32 years ago.
42,
whatever.
right?
However you look at it.
Long time ago.
Yeah. So,
Girl
it
like
just,
you, though. Come on.
it's great. There's so many songs
Yeah,
on here. Now they had so many good albums. Let's go through the whole list here. I'm going to name the albums and the songs. All right,
I'm going
Dad?
to tie them into one of your favorite bands that they went on tour with that
All
you
right.
do not know about.
You do that. But let me name the albums. First, they had this first full length, Especially for You. Then they followed up with Green Thoughts, 11, and Blow Up.
Yes.
Those were the, really that time.
It was actually Especially for You, then Live at the Roxy, then Green Thoughts.
I don't think
That's
Live
true.
at the Roxy counts, though.
Yes. Well, it was, yeah.
Well, it's
All
a
right.
live album.
So listen to these songs: Top of the Pops, Blue Period, Girl Like You, Only a Memory, Blood and Roses, In a Lonely Place, House We Used to Live in, Blues Before and After, Too Much Passion, Room Without a View,
Top of the
and they
Pops.
just never made it big for some reason. And now I don't know what that reason is. It has to be because of, well, it's the same thing. you can say about the Ramones. Ramones never made it huge when they should have, and I think
Nobody cares about that, though.
I care about that. What do you mean?
Why?
What are you talking
making it?
about?
I'm not talking about the Ramones.
Oh,
I was ready to go after him.
I know. Yeah, see.
His esophagus.
I was going to hold him back. You can't touch him unless I forget what he's talking about.
Yeah, don't
I'm
choke
gonna hold
me
him
out.
back.
No. Everybody loves Ramones, regardless of the fact that everybody
Well,
likes
all right.
Top 20.
So, it's just a principle, though, and it's for them because it sucks the life out of them that every album the Ramones released and every album the Smithereens released, they're like, God damn it. This is a masterpiece we just released,
Joy
and
Division.
there it
Keep
is.
going down the list.
And there it is
Okay.
that Disco Duck is number 1,
Exactly.
and we're
Right.
number 115.
You
You know
love
what
so
I'm
being
saying?
That you
Come
came to that
on,
point, I'm
man.
going to reveal what I was going
All
to
right.
reveal to you before
He's going to
now.
reveal something. Get ready.
He's revealing
The
himself.
Smithereens
Jesus Christ.
opened up for the Ramones 89, 90s.
Oh, really?
Okay?
That's kinda cool.
correct.
Yeah, cool. Yeah,
Okay?
I could see that.
It's
definitely.
funny you said that.
Yeah,
because
very-
the
very
Smithereens
important.
opened
Yeah,
for
yeah.
them. And Pat Dinizio told a funny story about on like one of the last shows they were in Virginia at a bar, and the bartender's like looking at, it's like the Holiday Inn bar or whatever like that, right? And so they're all sitting there, the Smithereens are drinking with the Ramones, and the bartender's just like old, like army duty at a buzz cut, he may have been in Vietnam with you. So he's looking at like Joey, the singer of the Ramones. He's looking, it's like 1 o'clock, it's last call, he told Joey, it's last call. You know what Joey Ramone says? I'll take 40 Budweisers.
That's awesome.
That's a true story.
And that sounds like him, too. You did a good job there, too.
I'll
Yeah,
take 40
yeah.
Budweisers.
That's what he said, man. So cheers to that.
Yeah, there you go.
Smithereens and the Ramones, man.
Absolutely.
Yep.
That at that time, and the Smithereens were huge at that time, importance-wise, because they brought guitar music back, great songwriting, throwbacks. Because you had a lot of snotty boys out there with lipstick on, playing synthesizers, and you had hair bands
They
and
sounded like a throwback band.
yeah.
Pat
Like-
wore his
like-
leather jacket. He had those cool glasses on and that hat that just flipped up.
Yeah, it was a cool hat. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
They were
So,
great.
Yeah,
They
they
really
were
were.
absolutely great. I saw them.
Dinizio.
I saw them many times over the years, and last time I saw them, I saw him solo recently in New Jersey. But I actually went to his house recently in 2 years ago. He had this yearly
you went
party, at his house.
Yeah.
And I went
I
there,
remember that.
and I
Yeah.
thought it was going to be. I didn't know what to expect. He's a rock star. I thought it'd be a big mansion, or whatever.
It's like a
And
barbecue.
it's a
A
little
random
house.
house.
It's a random house in Scotch Plains in his backyard, and he's
Yeah.
up on stage playing with
Right.
the band, and
How'd you go to that? How'd you know?
I went to it. I saw it, and I said, "Yeah, I'd like to go." And he said,
How
"Okay."
did you see the invitation? How did you
I
look
don't
up?
remember. It was just, I'm aware of my surroundings, Padron, and it was just like any concert.
My surroundings.
Yeah, it wasn't a top
I
secret
just
thing.
drove by his house once a week, and I just saw what's going on.
I decided to come to that party.
What's that
guy
loud
was
music?
fantastic.
I'm gonna just walk in there.
I was.
I knew he
walking-
lived there.
I was walking down the street in Scotch Plains one day.
Just randomly.
And I asked the
next
guy.
Madhouse Magazine. Fuck on.
I said, "Excuse me, can you tell me where the train station is?" And
And then I
just
heard
came in
only
for
a
his
memory,
party.
and I just
Yeah,
walked
yeah.
back there. I had a beer and a chicken wing. That's great.
No, too bad. Where you going? Stay there.
No, I
You
have to.
can't leave the show.
have to.
Hold on.
Iggy
Relax.
Pop show, Iggy
How
Pop,
dare
remember
you?
I stayed.
Give me a
I
break.
stayed.
Is he that ridiculous?
I gotta go pee.
Oh my
really
God!
bad.
What an
Iggy Pop.
infantile. All right,
Well,
we're gonna take a break
ladies and
now.
gentlemen, this is the
Hold
first
on, we'll
time
be
we've
right
ever had a
back.
guest
yes,
leave.
this is outrageous.
Thank
the new
you.
studio.
Come back.
He's
Is
embarrassing
it something
us all.
he said?
Embarrassing us
Is it,
all.
what did he say?
All right,
Let's go.
welcome back, Madhouse Magazine Radio Hour. We've never before witnessed such ridiculousness with a man leaving the studio during
why
a
did
show because he was out of control. That's it.
Oh,
So,
gosh.
all right,
This is
so
so
we're gonna.
much fun.
This is the worst tribute anyone's ever gotten, but it's a lot of fun here, and we love
Yes.
Pat Dinizio. So
do.
anyway, like I
Ugh.
said, I named all those songs, named all those albums, and then they've always been around. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
They never made millions and millions of dollars, but they got to tour the world, open for how many different bands, Ramones,
play the
etc.
Wonder Bar.
Exactly.
They did. And the Pony.
Yeah, and they just, in the recent years, they just did concerts after concerts all over the place, and they never
Never
had a
told,
real job, you know? So
Although the last time around Asbury Park, they played the Wonder Bar. I wasn't crazy about their ticket prices. Gotta say, it was
What
a
do you
little
mean?
bit too expensive. I was
what, it was
it
$22?
No, it was like 25.
Oh, wow.
I wasn't crazy about it. It
How
wasn't
dare
19
you.
or 10,
How dare you.
Like the huge, you know?
So
yeah.
so anyway, and then
Anyway.
you know, after the 80s, they went through all the 90s, and then they see how that works.
All the 90s.
First the 80s, then the 90s,
They
then
went
the
through all of them,
2000s, right? And you know what happened in 2000? He ran for Senate. Pat Dinizio
That is
ran
true.
for Senate.
That is true. That's not
And-
Madhouse
And
Magazine
a
information.
documentary as well.
That is true.
Yes, he made a documentary about being a baseball player.
The Smithereens go to Washington.
Right, right.
Stretch.
Mr. Smithereen goes to Washington.
Yeah.
Look up
Although,
YouTube, Pat
settle
Dinizio,
down.
7th
Settle
inning
down. We're
stretch.
still talking about him running for Senate.
Yeah.
And he came in 4th when only 3 people were running. He had less than 1% of the vote. Seriously.
It's true.
That I actually had more votes. People wrote in my name.
I voted for
more
you.
times.
I vote
yeah.
for you, man.
So Mr.
All
Smithereen
the
goes to
time.
Washington. And then he did like crazy stuff, but way ahead of his time, like a solo living room tour.
Mm-hmm.
If you could pay him, he would come to your living room and play. And you see people doing that all the time now. Like Padron, he'll
I
come to your
do.
living room.
I'll
He'll play in your
It's-
bathroom
I'll
if you
play,
want.
behind
Yeah.
the wall asleep,
Exactly. So, you
you
know,
know? Warm up a couple
and then,
times, you know?
You
You'll
know,
dress however you want as well.
I'll wear the Robbie Krieger shirt. Look at that, guys. Look at that.
He'll wear
boom, boom.
everything
Robbie, do it. Oh, look at
So-
he's dancing.
but the
He's
Robbie
dancing.
Krieger.
all right, we're getting
All right.
serious now.
No,
So
come
in
on.
recent years, he fell into ill health. He gained a lot of weight. He fell a few times.
Due
He-
to prednisone, a steroid. That's what I heard.
Right, and he had like damaged his hand, his arm, or whatever, that he couldn't play the guitar recently, and he had a series of
Very-
falls
very
recently, and we don't know what happened, but he was really the nicest guy. If you haven't met him, I met him a couple times. I spoke to him and took a picture with
Tell me
him,
about it.
and he was
What
just
are you
the
speaking
nicest
about?
guy.
What are you talking about?
I talked to him about you and light my fire, and he said how much he hates you.
No, it's funny because I actually met
He's
him
like, that
at the.
guy might.
No, it's funny. I actually met him at the Crossroads, and my band
In
Light My Fire-
Garwood?
In Garwood, and because
New
he
Jersey.
he would play there a lot because it was
Yeah,
his local,
almost all the time. Yeah,
his local hangout. So he would play acoustic tribute. He would tribute like Zeppelin. The night I saw him, he tributed
Right.
to Zeppelin, and so I got to speak to him before he played. And I told him about our band. And he was a big Doors fan. That's when he told me about Blood and Roses. That was inspired by Riders in the Storm. He's a huge Doors fan. And I said, great, come out and see my band, you know. And he never came to see us. But anyway, really
that's why
awesome
you hold
guy.
the grudge now.
And I
Why
introduced
do you hate him, dude?
to Maria.
Why do you hate him?
All right.
And at the end of the show, he ended up giving me a free CD because I was going to buy a T-shirt that they didn't have it in my size, so he gave me a CD. He said, "Here you go." And
Your size
it was
is,
the Beatles. My
go
size is
ahead.
extra, extra cool.
Extra medium.
Extra medium.
It's extra medium.
This guy, wow.
It's sort of
what a
medium.
You ever
stand
notice
up.
that? Let me put in a joke
Yeah.
here. Do you notice that they don't have B batteries and they don't have extra medium shirts?
That's true.
Go on, carry on now.
And that's about it. He's a great guy. He really
Yes, he
will
really
stop
was.
and speak with you.
He was very
And-
nice.
And while you're talking to him, you're looking at him. You're like, you're Pat Dinizio.
Right.
And you just
know?
can't believe you're speaking with him. But he will take the time to speak with his fans.
And I'm going to say, he had a unique voice, a beautiful voice. I love that deep, soulful voice. He was a great songwriter.
Yeah,
Their sound was awesome. I loved like all of their songs. And they did a lot of tribute songs recently. The Beatles, The Who, and who else?
Jim
you know?
Babchick's late wife, who passed away, Betty Babchick, said that Pat's
But Girl
voice,
Like You and Blood
Hold
and
on, he's
Roses.
speaking.
Pat's voice was a voice that could melt a girl's heart.
I
That's
can
what
see
she
that
said.
too. He wrote a lot of great
Yeah.
love songs and broken heart songs,
Yeah.
and you know his voice is just no one sounds like Pat Dinizio. When you
Very
hear
true.
that, that's definitely Pat Dinizio. So
Yeah.
you know, so very sad. He passed away just recently, December 12th, 2017,
Yeah.
at age 62.
In his home in the home that you
Scotch
stalked.
Plains.
You probably know where it is. Exactly.
I probably couldn't find it again, but I was there.
That's cool, man.
So
That's really
yeah,
cool.
very nice. So anyway, Pat, we hardly knew ye. We'll miss you, and thanks for the great music.
Thank you very
stuff.
much.
And yeah, good stuff. Keep it up. We need more people like Pat Dinizio.
Jersey boy,
We need
man.
less people like Kendrick
Justin
Lamar,
Bieber,
and everyone
Kanye West.
everyone I named on the
that
Grammy
stuff.
list there.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they never
on.
won a Grammy, right?
Oh, the Grammys.
You know, no one good ever won a Grammy.
The only thing that bothers me is though, like you talked about Jethro Tull and Metallica.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, they're both great artists. So like that kind of bothered me just because it was out of context, right?
What is he saying?
Did you ever have Pat Dinizio on your show?
No. Like for best metal
That's
album,
what he said.
I would never have
He asked you.
Jethro
If you ever had
Tull
Pat
as the
Dinizio on
greatest
your show.
metal album. But like,
I know
they
it's
were still
ridiculous.
great.
Of
never
course,
did?
Jethro Tull is awesome.
You see what
and
I'm
that's-
saying now?
No,
No,
here's
it's all
another
gonna get
point.
cut. It's
Hold on.
fine.
This is all his shit always gets cut.
fine.
It's like he
But
never
I'm
even.
saying-
All I'm gonna
No.
show about him is leaving to go to the bathroom.
Like Jesus Christ!
Hi, this is Mike. This is Mike Macchioli. Hey, where you going?
Yo, guys, I really gotta go. And he threw his glasses down to the
Well,
table.
that's the point about the Hall of
Remember you
Fame.
threw your glasses, bro?
No, that was my
Settle
point.
down.
I
Right,
do.
he has a good point. That
That's a good
Jethro
point.
Tull,
Thank you.
settle down. Jethro Tull is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
Bon Effin Jovi is.
Thank you.
Smithereens is not.
Thank you.
ABBA is.
John Bon Blomi.
Yes. I want to call out right now. I want to challenge
Monkeys.
John Bon Jovi
The
to
Monkeys.
a physical fight right now.
Wow.
The Monkeys are not in the Hall of Fame.
Exactly. All right, so that's enough. We are done with
Yeah?
the tribute show, but it's time for the news now before we start.
Yay!
Oh, we got to smell the album. This is
Is this
an
your album?
awesome album.
Is this
These are
yours?
my albums. Originally, look at that. I bought it at Slip Disc in Valley Stream, Long Island. Very famous record store, and I still know the guy that owns that. And they had every in-store you can ever imagine, every band you ever imagine. Oh, that smells good. Check that out. Check this one out. All right. So now, while we're doing that, I'm going to
it
read
smells
some
good,
Madhouse Magazine news that this very important subject. Did you hear about this, Mike Macchioli or Padron? It's called Stranglehold. Ron Wood chokes out Ted Nugent. So you got to check out madhousemagazine.com. Very important stories. You hear about this one, Padron?
We're paying attention to
I
the
don't think
album,
you are. So you better pay attention to this story. It's very important. Rolling Stones guitarist Ron Wood took offense at comments made recently by Ted Nugent. And when they ran into each other recently, Ron Wood let Nugent have it. Nugent took a shot at Ronnie Wood on social media, saying that Wood looks like he was thrown in a wood chipper. Did you hear about that? He dissed him. So Nugent went on to admonish fans. He admonished all his fans to treat their bodies and lives with respect and reverence by staying away from the lifetime of drugs and alcohol and tobacco that famously plagued the 70-year-old rocker Wood throughout the years. So Wood and Nugent were at an NRA party when Wood approached Nugent. Wood did not say a word to Nugent, but silently took his velvet jacket off and handed it to Nugent's wife and said, "Here, love, do me a favor and hold my jacket while I give your hubby a proper arse kicking." See, it would be better if I had an English accent. You could probably do
Exactly,
that.
a little
Yeah.
bit.
But I can't do that.
I can't do it.
So anyway, Nugent and wife were in shock as Wood handed his drink to Charlie Watts and then proceeded to wrestle Nugent to the ground. Wood has trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for 35 years and is a third-degree black belt. With the dexterity of a lizard and the grip of a python, Wood was on Nugent in seconds and took him down with a scissor sweep. Wood then applied a triangle choke on Nugent, who was rendered helpless. Nugent was choked out by Wood in less than 30 seconds. Wood then took his jacket and drink back and went on his way. When he came to, Nugent said, "What the F happened? I grossly underestimated Ron Wood, and I sincerely apologize." Wood accepted the apology and said, "No problem, mate. Just don't make that mistake again and never underestimate a Rolling Stone. If it were Keith, he would have killed you." There you go. All the news not fit for print. MadhouseMagazine.com.
Yes.
So there we are. We're done with this show. Hey, everyone want to name their Smithereens' favorite song after they smelled the album? I'm going with, I don't even know. There's so many good
Girl Like
songs.
You.
Girl Like
Seriously.
You. I love Blood and Roses.
Blood
I
and
love
Roses, Girl Like You.
Behind the Wall of Sleep.
Yeah,
for
Behind the
me.
Wall of Sleep, I'm going to have to go with just for the lyrics.
Kim Ernst.
Because he mentions
So good.
He
Bill
loved you.
Wyman in
That's
that,
true.
too.
He loved
Yes.
you. You ever hang out with him at all? You ever have that drink with him?
Yes.
You know?
There you go. So,
you?
all right.
don't
So we're
know.
on at the Behind the
don't
Wall of
know.
Sleep. And that's it. So let's wrap this show up now. And we're going to go out, let's see, play some more songs. How about we play Behind the Wall of Sleep by the Smithereens?
And then play a Ramones song after that.
No, we're going to play Waterloo Sunset by the Kinks, because the Kinks were one of their favorite bands, is all.
Muskrat Love.
And then we're going to play the Artist of the Month. And we're out of here. The first show of 2018 is a wrap. Let's hear it for us and Pat Dinizio. We'll see you guys next week, where my guests will be Gina and Stephen Bello, when we'll be doing 1976, the bicentennial, and we'll be featuring the Boston album. See you guys next week.
Yeah, peace out.